Happy April Fools, everybody, and welcome back to Mock the Mock, where we take a look at someone else's mock draft. And I'm mocking, giving my views, thoughts, and opinions. Got a great one for you today. We're going to be headed over to the Draft Network, because that's still a thing. Taking a look at Keith Sanchez's mock draft. I wonder if there's any April Fool's shenanigans with this one. But let's go ahead, get into this sucker, with the first pick being Caleb Williams. So no April Fool's shenanigans just yet. But this one feels a little bit set in stone. I don't think they're going to be moving off of this Caleb Williams pick. You get to reset the rookie contract at the most expensive and vital position in the NFL, quarterback. And you get a prospect who is just freaking phenomenal. So looks like that'll be it for the Bears. At number 2, we got Drake May going to the Washington Commanders. I personally like this. Drake May is my QB too, so he'd be the guy I'd go with if I'm going with the quarterback position, which we all know the Commanders are going with the quarterback position. Very likely that the Bears or the Commanders will trade out of their picks. We get there when like the Patriots maybe, the Cardinals maybe, the Chargers maybe. Those are kind of like the 3 trade down spots if the Vikings want to move up to get their quarterback. I know there's a lot going out there right now with Drake May. Oh, he has a lot of easy misses, which everyone and their mom's going to tell you, and it's true. This was something in my summer evals where I was talking about Drake May. I was like, man, you go back, watch his tape. There's a lot more misses than you would expect, because I think in 2022, his adjusted completion percentage was 75, which is a really good number. 75% is really good for adjusted completion percentage. But when you watch this film, it's like, man, there's a lot of easy misses, and people are going to be worrying about, okay, well, when you make the easy throws look hard, that's not going to really translate in the NFL, because, I mean, you're going to be schemed up a lot of easy throws. You got to be able to hit those. So now there's all this doubt, all this wonder, but for me, it's still Drake May, because just the talent is that good with him. I have him ahead of Jaden Daniels. I have him ahead of J.J. McCarthy, Bo Nix, Michael Penix. Michael Penix coming off a really big pro day. So we'll see if he ends up sneaking into this mock draft. But let's keep going with pick 3. The New England Patriots, they go with J.J. McCarthy. This feels like such a Bill Belichick thing to do. However, Bill Belichick is no longer there. So I don't know. But J.J. McCarthy, man, he's the hype monster in this cycle of the draft season. We saw it last year with a Will Levis, who at one point was the betting favorite to go first overall. He ends up not even going in the first round. I don't think that'll be necessarily the same with J.J. McCarthy. I think he will go in the first round. The question is where, to whom. He's the likely name in a trade-up scenario for the Minnesota Vikings, but lands here with the Patriots. You don't have to start him right away. They brought in Jacoby Brissett, and I think ideally you don't want to start him right away, but there's no denying that he has the tools. He has the charisma, the personality. He was a guy that everyone and their mom's bragging about how well he interviewed, so that's fine by me. That's fine by me. Patriots get their quarterback, hopefully long term. Arizona Cardinals here at 4 take Marvin Harrison Jr. So no trade down here for the Cardinals. They just stay put. They take arguably the top prospect in this year's class, being Marvin Harrison Jr. They need receiving help. Makes sense to me. And then at number 5. Oh, we're spicing it up. So it's not the Vikings trading up. It's actually the the Atlanta Falcons. I don't know why I keep getting these bird teams mixed up, but they go with Malik Neighbors, and oh my gosh, he would be such a beautiful complement to like a Drake London, to a Darnell Mooney. Oh, this has a lot of sex appeal. So Atlanta moving up here, and I actually like that quite a bit. Chargers we talk about as a popular trade down spot, or at least I think it's the most likely trade down spot for a team like Minnesota, which I'm kind of curious with the Giants, who they could go quarterback. If I'm the Giants, I would go quarterback. I just don't think they are going to go quarterback. So maybe we see a trade down here, or maybe they just send it with a receiver. I don't know. Let's find out. New York Giants, they indeed go with Jaden Daniels. So now the Vikings are kind of left sitting here like, okay, are we taking a quarterback in this class? We'll find out at 11. We sure will. But I like them going. I like the Giants going with the quarterback because I'm not sold on Danny Dimes. They really have only one more year left with him before they could choose to move on. And Drew Lock ain't the future. He's really just coming in as a high-end backup. That's what you're hoping to get from him. They had a lot of injuries at quarterback last season. They had a lot of injuries in general, that whole offensive line. Even though it wasn't good, part of the reason of that was, well, everybody was hurt. But they improved the offensive line during the offseason, during free agency. I do think they're going to be active in this wide receiver class, and you could honestly start it on day 2. You really, really can. All right, Tennessee Titans. Is Joe Alt? It's Joe Alt. It's literally nothing but Joe Alt for the Titans. It's such outside of Caleb Williams going to the Bears at 1. This is probably the pick that most people are chalking up as tackle. They spent a pretty little dime on Calvin Ridley. They released Andre Dillard, so they're looking for that tackle of the future. Joe Alt kind of fits the description there. Pick 8. This is the Chargers after the trade down, and they're going to go with Telenise Fuanga. Okay, so they look to shore up the right tackle spot, currently held by Trey Pipkins. You could you feel like you could upgrade that, and I think that's fine. Now we see tackle go back to back. Say okay. Question is, now you look at that second tier of tackle in this class. You talk about like Troy Fatanu, Olu Fashanu, and those are two guys that are like, they've played the left side. Let's look at the right side of the line, because I mean, after that, like you get into that tier 2 of tackles, and it's like, okay, what side of the line they've played on becomes a little bit more vital, a little bit more important. For me, like a Joe Alt, I feel comfortable with him playing either side of the offensive line, even though Alt has only played left tackle. He's that type of prospect where I think he'll have no problem making the move. Forget what you saw in a couple of drills of him playing right tackle at the combine. He's going to have a whole off season to learn right tackle if you need him to. But they go with Fuanga here, which matches the style that Jim Harbaugh wants to play, a very physical type of game. All right, before we get to the Chicago Bears at pick 9, if you want to know more about the draft prospects in this class, then I got good news for you. I got a draft guide. Listen, I know you love the NFL draft as much as I do, and you're going to want a nice hefty watch list of players during this college football season. Well, go ahead, check out my draft guide. You can purchase it for only $30 by Venmoing or PayPaling me. Links in the description. It's a one-time payment, and you get it for this whole draft cycle and forever and always. Technically, it's a Google spreadsheet, so send me your email when you send the payment. I'll get you hooked up. You will see my current prospect rankings and big board, my full evals, and guess what? It updates throughout the whole draft cycle. So it's a great purchase, and it's a great way to support the channel. Before we get into pick 9, Donald McKay, if you're watching this, you purchase a draft guide, I need your email. Please send me your email, buddy. I want to get you that draft guide. Let's go to pick 9, as it is the Chicago Bears, and they go Laiatu Latu. And yeah, I mean, with Rome Odunze, I find it hard to pass up on him. Just add in more receiving talent with your franchise quarterback. Just sounds so sexy. But let's not act like edge is out of the realm of possibility, because it's not. Laiatu Latu, definitely the most seasoned pass rusher in this class. He already feels like you're playing with a guy that is a veteran in the NFL in terms of his pass rush game plan, his moves, just his overall approach as a pass rusher, but doesn't have like the high-end athletic and physical tools of like Jared Verse and Dallas Turner. So you're going to have to weigh those options there. I truly believe Laiatu Latu will go somewhere in the top 20. I think it goes high as 8 to the Atlanta Falcons. So him at 9 isn't out of the realm of possibility. So I think it's a good pickup here for the Bears. Pick 10, Roma Dunze going to the Jets. This would be Brock Bowers. For me, of course, with Roma Dunze on the board, that changes things a little bit. That's something you're like, oh, mama mia, yeah, give me some receiving help. I'll take that, please and thank you. Add that to Mike Williams, who, hey, you guys struggled to stay healthy in recent years. Garrett Wilson, he's someone that can play inside and out. So I love the Roma Dunze pick. I just never see him available here, especially if I do a mock draft. He's just not here. So I typically just kind of auto pick to Brock Bowers. So I would love this scenario for the Jets. Pick 11, Minnesota Vikings go with Michael Penix Jr. I do want to read this one, see if they mention the pro day at all. But Michael Penix draft stock has varied through the whole process, but I think he finds a home with the Minnesota Vikings. Arm talent is undeniable. There are a few questions about the medicals. Sounds like everything checked out well for him at the combine. Anywho, he says, I think he can help ease the idea of his injuries with athletic testing, which was good on his pro day. He will be a good pick for the Minnesota Vikings to lead Kevin O'Connell's offense. So, yeah, I think Michael Penix did a lot of help with the athletic testing. Like, knowing that this guy prefers to win inside the pocket. He prefers to win with his arm. But if he has to rely on those legs, because, I mean, the dude was not, we knew the dude wasn't slow. It's just, how mobile is he willing to get? And we know he has the capabilities of doing that. That's great. That's awesome. Vikings, I still think they're going to probably move up to get their quarterback, though. Denver Broncos. They're going to be going with Bo Nix. So just like that, all 6 of the top quarterbacks are officially off the board by pick 12. I think Bo Nix feels like a Sean Payton quarterback, someone who can work inside the system, wants to win with his arm, won't put the ball in harm's way, but he gives you plus mobility as well. Some people don't get it with Bo Nix, and I think that's fine. I understand. I do think he's maybe one of the safer options in this class. He just doesn't have necessarily the ceiling of guys like McCarthy, Daniels, Drake May, and Williams, obviously. Pick 13. Oh, they even got a Photoshop. Bo Nix in a Broncos uni. That might be the thumbnail. Maybe. I don't know. We'll find out. All right, we got the Raiders going with Nate Wiggins. Oh, this feels like akin to like Al Davis. He's back. He's back in the front office and he sees speed and he's like, yes, please, I'll have another. I think the Raiders are past that. Nate Wiggins, I feel like he's more of a back end of the first round guy. At this point, I'd rather go with like a Quinion, Terrion Arnold, even like maybe a Kool-Aid McKinstry. Those are just guys, Cooper DeJean. Those are guys that I feel more confident about what they've put on the field. I'm more confident with their level of physicality. So Raiders going corner, though, isn't out of the realm of possibility. Nate Wiggins could work inside and out. You got Jack Jones there on the outside. I feel like you would probably want a little bit more size. I feel like they are missing size at the cornerback position. Pick 14, New Orleans Saints go with Olu Fashanu out of Penn State. The tackle makes sense to me. Makes all the sense in the world. We talked about Ryan Ramczyk. We don't know his long-term, or like what is his long-term status with the knee issue. We don't even know what his short-term status may be. But at the very least, you know that left tackle position, Trevor Pennant, things ain't so hot there. So you want to probably address that with Olu Fashanu being a fabulous selection here at 14. Pick 15, Indianapolis Colts going with Tyler Guyton. A very interesting pick here for the Colts. Let me read this one. Tyler Guyton has rare size and athleticism at the position, which is too much for the Colts to pass up, who have Braden Smith and Bernhard Raimann. Okay. The Colts' main focus is on developing Anthony Richardson, giving him the necessary tools to succeed. Drafting an offensive lineman to protect him does exactly that, except for you already have 2 offensive linemen that can protect him. Unless, like, you, I guess, move Braden Smith back into guard. Remember, he was, I think, a guard at Auburn. Or, shoot, I mean, maybe you look to get cheaper to moving on from Braden Smith, but like that's just me trying to talk myself into this pick. Does feel like a bit of a reach here, and I'm not an overall fan of it. Seattle Seahawks, they go with Dallas Turner. I mean, it feels too good to pass up at this juncture, right? Dallas Turner, I mean, him being available 16, you're just kind of licking your chops. They do have Boye Mafe. They don't know what they have in Derek Hall quite yet. You got Nwosu coming back from injury. Darryl Taylor, solid rotation player. So it feels like you have not necessarily like elite pass rushers there, but you have a good unit of guys to feel confident in. I mean, I don't mind the pick. The value's good. Preferably, if I'm the Seahawks, I probably want to trade down. I think they've been actually pretty vocal, too, about wanting to address the offensive line via the draft because it's a very good offensive line draft. So if anything, if they're stuck here, I think that's the route they would go. Real quick, got to give a shout out to today's sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. When you sign up using promo code Broshmo, they will match your first deposit up to $100 a dues. So say for instance, you use promo code Broshmo, your first deposit's $100. They'll give you a $200 to play with, and you want to get in on the action, dude. We're here at the Final Four in the big tourney. Go UConn. But they don't just do football and basketball. They do literally all kinds of sports. So if you want to get in on that, then remember, sign up, use promo code Broshmo for them to double that first deposit of yours. But please bet wisely, bet responsibly. Pick 17. Kool-Aid McKinstry going to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I love seeing him get a little bit of shine here as basically corner 2 off the board, but you got Terry and Arnold. You have Quinion Mitchell. I would honestly make a better case for Quinion Mitchell. Like for me, Kool-Aid McKinstry, I think there's a good chance he probably ends up higher than Terry and Arnold because he's been higher than Terry and Arnold for me for a long time. And like the athletic testing was going to play a big part in that. And to be fair, they're not far off. They're not. I love Kool-Aid. If you're looking for, I think, a sure thing, a guy's going to come in, might not be necessarily the like top corner, but on your team, but someone that could come in and be a very, very good corner too. I'd not say that Kool-Aid doesn't have that potential to be a top corner. I just think you look at maybe the upside of some of the other guys in this class and you try to go with that instead. Regardless, it's a good pick. I like it. Cincinnati Bengals go with Brock Bowers. The fall ends here. Brock Bowers, he's such an interesting enigma in this draft. Where is he going to go? No one really knows exactly. I mean, if you're the Bengals at 18, you're staring at him. It's like almost a foregone conclusion, and you just kind of hope you can get a good tackle in round 2. Because, man, the tackles in round 1, it's just, there's a lot of them. And like Trent Brown's not a long-term option. Like taking a chance on Mims, having him maybe sit on the bench initially and just swinging on that upside from a like physical tools and athletic standpoint just seems so alluring. But like Brock Bowers also very good option. Los Angeles Rams, they're going to go with Troy Fautanu. I love this. Immediately you have upgraded the left tackle position. They got Alaric Jackson there. They may like him, but you can't deny, this feels like an upgrade from Alaric Jackson. Fautanu just to me. It ain't that wild, man. This happens, and he's going to have to play his former OC, Ryan Grubb, twice a year. That's just funny. All right, Pittsburgh Steelers. They're going with Kingsley Sumatea. This is starting to feel like an April Fool's mock draft. Because you got Quinion, you got Terry and Arnold. Like, there's a lot of talent still left on the board here. So it's kind of comical. They go with Kingsley. I mean, you move Kingsley back to the right side where maybe you feel like he's a little bit more comfortable. He has tackle guard versatility. And I mean, yeah, he's a little raw in terms of his footwork, how he uses his hands, but the upside's definitely there with him. You get to kick Broderick Jones to left tackle, which is fine. This feels early, especially considering who's all left on the board. Like, dude, Quinion Mitchell would be so fun here. Miami Dolphins, they go with Graham Barton. Out of Duke, probably going to play guard for us, probably right guard, where he gets slotted in if hopefully Isaiah Wynn could stay healthy. And I like Barton. I feel like this is like 21 is the first team I'm thinking Graham Barton, like teams will think about Graham Barton, you know? Yeah, you're like, okay, this is a guy that honestly has versatility everywhere, but probably just doesn't translate as a tackle in the NFL. But he can play center, he can play guard, he can play either side, and you're probably feeling really good about him. He just had his pro day last week, tested out real well. So I like this for the Dolphins. For me, Dolphins need to go with the trenches, whether that's offensive line or defensive interior. So I'm okay with it. Philadelphia Eagles, they go with Terrion Arnold. Quinion continues to fall, but the Eagles get a guy that can work inside and out. He's adept at working both man and zone coverage, so you feel good about that. Yeah, like corner feels like the obvious pick for the Eagles. They didn't really address it in free agency outside of Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, who's more of this like nickel safety hybrid. So you haven't really addressed the outside with where you have two aging guys like Bradbury and Slay, though you're hoping maybe they could rekindle the magic they did in 2022 with Vic Fangio now back in-house, and not just in-house, but as your DC. So, I mean, the Eagles, again, this is a team that's going to let value hit them in the face, and they can really go anywhere. Minnesota Vikings are going to go with Johnny Newton. So they're going to get some more guys on that interior. They did address the edge position quite a bit, though they did see a lot of their guys go, but brought in some guys to come help ease the pain. But they could definitely address the interior. If they keep both picks, you're kind of in a prime spot here at 23 where it's either Johnny Newton or Byron Murphy. Could almost guarantee that one, if not both of those guys are going to be available to you at this pick. So, cool. Good on you. Dallas Cowboys, they're going with Jackson Powers Johnson. I love this. You can play him at guard. You can play him at center. It works either way because they could definitely use either or. Well, mainly center. And they're probably kind of looking for a left tackle unless you just move Tyler Smith to left tackle and then you're looking for a left guard. But Jackson Powers Johnson, I'm a mark for him. He's kind of a my guy in this class. I love the pick for the Cowboys. I don't know if he makes it to them, but if he does, for me, it's kind of a no-brainer decision, though you do have like Brian Thomas still available. So you'd probably have to ponder. You'd probably have to think on that pick. But real quick, what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo. Just in case you did not know, so go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section below where we have that nice, beautiful football discourse. The Green Bay Packers are going with Amarius Mims. They love their Raz guys, but they also don't often take offensive linemen in the first round. But I honestly think with the Packers, anything's on the board. Like, they could really go anywhere they want because this is a team that doesn't have too many big needs. So they could really just take the best talent available. If there's a guy they really fancy in this class, they have the picks to make moves, to make a move up the board to go and get their player. I would have loved Quinion Mitchell here, who's still on the board, and I'm kind of wondering where Quinion falls at this point. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're gonna go with Xavier Worthy. I don't love it. I get it. You get speed, but they grabbed Trey Palmer in last year. They played him quite a bit. You're kind of hoping he's that guy that could be that vertical threat. Feel like maybe Jared Verse being available. I think he's still on the board. It's kind of a great pick here for your edge room that you showed last year. You want a nice rotation there. It worked out during the last stretch of the season when they got Yaya Diaby up in the action. No Tryon's numbers went up when he was just kind of used in that rotation. Shaq Barrett's no longer there, so you think going edge here kind of be not necessarily a no-brainer, but it'd be a more luxurious option. Arizona Cardinals, they're going with Quinion Mitchell. The freaking fall stops here. So the Cardinals need to continue to improve the defense, especially the secondary. Drafting Quinion Mitchell gives them a corner who could play man-to-man and should immediately come in and be the most talented corner on the roster. Amen. Why is he here at 27? That blows my mind. Blows my mind. I get some people may not be necessarily as high on him as I am at this point, but him to be available here at 27 just doesn't feel like it'll be in the cards. But hey, good players fall in the draft. This is an excellent pick if it falls this way for the Cardinals. Buffalo Bills, they say screw Brian Thomas, screw Adonai Mitchell. We're going with Xavier Leggett. And I don't mind that. You just lost the big-bodied vertical threat that is Gabe Davis, and you get now another big body, not as big as Gabe Davis, but much faster than Gabe Davis, and a much more physical at the catch point in Leggett. I really like the fit of Leggett to the Bills. I think I'd probably, though, would go with Brian Thomas because I think he's that good, and he kind of functions in a similar role. A bigger bodied vertical target that has that speed. And Leggett's obviously bigger, but you get Brian Thomas, who's faster, who's gonna just jump out of the gym. Like it's kind of close, man. Leggett's nice, man. Leggett's nice. Detroit Lions, they go with Jared Verse. Wild that he falls this far, but it's the NFL draft. Anything can happen, baby. So they grab a edge player there, which you can't trust. Marcus Davenport to stay healthy. He's great when healthy, but how often is he really healthy? And I mean, he's just a short-term option, 1-year deal. So you get a long-term option here in Jared Verse. I like that. Again, just kind of letting the talent come to you. Sometimes it's just a really good option. Baltimore Ravens go with Keon Coleman, big-bodied receiver, which I mean, Rashad Bateman, I think, is a free agent after this season. They don't want to extend him because I think that would be kind of the role for Keon Coleman, though Bateman, a much more fluid route runner, though Coleman gives them more physicality and a better ball skills in general. We saw him in the gauntlet drill, so don't take that 4.6 one time as he's slow because the guy can move fast. It's just teaching him how to consistently separate out of his cuts, winning at the stem, and just doing a better job of stacking receivers when you are going maybe more vertical or you're going towards the sideline on those intermediate routes. So just kind of teaching him to be a better separator in general, I think would go a long way. Don't know if I love this. I think I'd rather more the speedy vertical option for the Ravens with OBJ gone. So that's just my take. San Francisco 49ers go JC Latham. Impeccable value. I love it. I don't think he's going to be here, but again, good players fall. It works out for them. And then at pick 32, Kansas City Chiefs go with Ennis Rakestraw Jr. They did just trade L'Jarius Sneed. I feel like they probably feel confident about guys like Trent McDuffie. They like Jalen Watson. Maybe we see a bit more of Joshua Williams worked into the rotation there. But not to say corners out of the cards for the Chiefs. Rakestraw tested a little bit faster, but again, speed's not going to be his calling card, though he's a good athlete, but he's a better athlete going vertical. So I think I'd rather see him in a more quarters or zone heavy system. But you can't deny the physical brand of football he plays, how he comes down, defends the run, finisher, tackler. So I get it. It's fine. It's a-okay. I'd still rather go with the receiver. Again, you got really good players like Brian Thomas, Adonai Mitchell available to you. If you're the Chiefs, you probably want to bring in more receiving talent, especially now with Rashee Rice street racing thing. You're probably looking at let's get some more receivers in here. Our boy might be in trouble. Let's see if they got the Panthers pick. Oh, they do have the Panthers pick, and they have is this a 2-rounder? This This is a 2-rounder and I didn't even know. All right, let's run through the second round. Carolina Panthers go with Ladd McConkey. Sounds fun. They get a separator. I don't know. I think I'd rather a guy that could play more on the outside, but I'm not against it. I like Ladd McConkey quite a bit. Brian Thomas going to the Patriots. Absurd value. You got Cardinals going with Brandon Fisk. He's probably going to go in the top 50. I don't see him going to the first round, but he's probably going to the top 50. There's some things I worry about in his game, but I mean, teams are going to be in love with that first step and that hustle he plays with. Jordan Morgan going to the Commanders, so they get their tackle of the future. Cooper DeJean going to the Chargers. Freaking enormous value. I love it. Edgerrin Cooper going to the Titans. I mean, that tells me, hey, I know we signed Kenneth Murray, but he's still Kenneth Murray. And then Chop Robinson going to the Panthers. I like that one quite a bit. Swing on a guy with immense upside. Christian Haynes, they just continue to address the offensive interior of that line. I like that. I think he'll probably contend with Allegretti at the guard, I think that's the left guard spot, which I think Allegretti, he's fine depth, but I don't know. They're paying him like they expect him to be a starter. I don't think I love that. Green Bay Packers, Junior Colson. They did release Devondre Campbell. Byron Murphy falling this far is just freaking ridiculous, but he goes to the Texans at 42. Darius Robinson going to the Falcons, so they get that edge player, kind of sort of. He's more of a versatile body type guy. Raiders go with Spencer Rattler. I feel like if it falls like this and not, I'm not taking Rattler this early. I'm just not. I think I'd rather take him at somewhere in the third round. We're here in the top 50. I'm like, okay, 6 quarterbacks off the board. I'm not that thirsty for a quarterback. And the Raiders should be. They got freaking O'Connell. They got Uncle Rico. So I don't think they have to be this needy at quarterback. And then you got Troy Franklin going to the Saints. Feels more of the same of what they already have at receiver. Mike Sainer is still. So this, well, I guess you're looking at this as your slot for the future, though they did bring back Kenny Moore, and I think it's a 3-year deal. Adonai Mitchell going to the Giants at 47 is ludicrous value. We got the Jags going Roger Rosengarten, man. He's starting to get some top 50 love. He's outside my top 50. Like I like him better in the mid to late third round, but I don't think it's bad. Rook Orohoro. So they just continue to add guys on that interior for the Bengals. Zach Frazier going to the Eagles, so you can keep Cam Jurgens at guard. Honestly, it's not a bad idea. I kind of like it. Ricky Pearsall going to the Steelers. I love that fit. I love that pick. Max Melton going to the Rams. They did add Trey White and Darius Williams. Trey White, in particularly, not being the same guy after just so many injuries there in Buffalo. So maybe grabbing a little what do they call it? Backup, a little assistance at the corner position, I think is a good call. Jarian Jones going to the Eagles. I mean, yeah, they already went corner in round 1. Grabbing a slot player here, but they brought back Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, so I don't know. I don't love that too much. Kieran Amagaji, you get a tackle you can develop. They're in particularly left tackle, so like Willis, man, maybe, or Wills might be on the way out, man. Might be not a guy that maybe potentially he just can't even afford to give a big contract to. Chris Braswell going to the Dolphins. We got Peyton Wilson to the Cowboys. That's kind of fun. Trey Benson to the Buccaneers is a hella interesting when considering they have Rachaad White, but okay. You got Tyler Nubin going to the Packers. They could definitely use more safety help. Jarvis Brownlee, I don't see him go this high in mocks. I kind of like it. Going to the Texans, play opposite of Derek Stingley. Devondre Sweat going to the Bills is a great fit. Roman Wilson going to the Lions. I feel like he's more of a slot guy, so I don't love this pick. The Lions already got their slot guy in Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's one of the best in the league. Justin Eboigbe going to the Ravens in round 2. Ooh, I don't love that, man. I think he's more of a day 3 player. Cam Hart going to the Niners, and then we got Braden Rice going to the Chiefs. So they do end up getting a receiver. So a very interesting mock draft, especially since we consider, when you take into consideration all like the day 2 picks. So yeah, you let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you want more draft content, check out some of my ranking videos, my final prospect ranking videos for this draft cycle. I'm still working on those, as Edge should be the next one out. So be on the look for that. But until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.